Hey everybody, and welcome back. We are making a video today because we get asked this question a million times. Somebody will say, hey, you raise sheep and goats. I want to raise sheep and goats. So we decided to make this video. So first thing you got to figure out is if you want to raise sheep or you want to raise goats. I picked sheep just because everything I'd read said that goats were escape artists and kind of trifling. But my wife does have goats, so we have a small goat herd now. And so I decided, hey, let's look at sheep. So I looked at wool sheep, I looked at hair sheep. Everything I knew, I liked the sheep side of it. Well, then I had to figure out wool or hair. Well, I'd never sheared a sheep, and all my scouring the internet, I could not find a really reliable year-round place where I could get rid of wool. And then when I actually looked at the numbers on wool, the price per pound for wool was not that exciting. So I decided to go with hair sheep just because, hey, let's take wool off the table. It's not a problem anymore. So we went with hair sheep. And from everything I've read about hair sheep is that they do not have as many problems with parasites and feet that you get out of a lot of your wool breeds. So that's why we went hair sheep. And now that I'm actually in the sheep industry, you will, in West Tennessee, North Mississippi, in the Southeast, you'll find a lot more hair sheep than you will wool sheep. They're more common. And which the nice thing is, if you're trying to find replacements or you want to go buy some sheep at a sale barn or something, it's, they're there. When you go to a sheep sale down here, this is what you're going to find. You can find the woolies every once in a while, but they're nowhere near as common. Even over in Mississippi, Arkansas, Missouri, Texas, Texas you've got a lot of wools and hairs. But this video that we're making, everything I put out is about sheep in West Tennessee. So your average sheep in West Tennessee is a hair sheep. So once you figure out what type of sheep, then you've got to figure out the type of breed you want. What breed of sheep do you want? Which also directly relates into what type of operation do you want to have? Do you want to have a ewe lamb operation where you have mamas, babies, and daddies, and you got to manage all this? Or do you want a feeder operation where you can say, hey, do I have I'm just buying these young lambs that are weaned. I'm going to raise them. They're 70 pounds, and we're going to sell them. You want commercial stock, which is basically, it can be registered or unregistered, but basically it is more geared toward production. Or you can have registered stock where you are growing registered animals and you're selling your registered animals, and for the sake of making more animals, basically the people that produce sheep on a commercial level are coming to you and buying your livestock for the purpose of improving our flocks and our genetic gene pool. So you got to figure out that. You've got to figure out your situation. How much land do you have? How much land are you going to have? Do you have a barn? That's really not that big a deal. You can raise sheep on a quarter acre. You really don't need a barn. It's really, really helpful, but if you've got a couple cedar trees, you really don't need a barn. The nice thing about having small acreage and not having a whole bunch is because depending on your personal financial situation, if I've only got 1 acre and 4 head of sheep, then it's not going to cost me much to fertilize, lime, and manage my pasture. Easy peasy. You fence it off into 4 sections, 1 acre, 4 sheep per acre. It doesn't cost you nothing to fertilize it, nothing to take care of it, and you got a really cool, fun experience. For whatever you want to do, whether you want to feed out lambs or whether you want to have mamas and babies, and you just build a small lean-to shed over there that faces east, and you're ready to rock and roll. And of course, you got to figure out your types of fencing. You know, what type of fencing do you want? What type of fencing do you have? Do you need to make improvements to your fences? How are you going to protect your sheep? You're going to have dogs, donkeys, alpacas, or are you going to stand out there with a gun all night? And then wormers, medication, marketing, hoof trimming, all that sort of stuff. So basically, those are the things that we're going to try to hit. So we've been over the types of sheep, wolves and hares. So then let's get into type of operations. We are a ewe lamb operation. We have mamas, we have babies. And basically what we do, and if you're doing this type of operation, either there's two ways to do it. You can go and buy a ram. Well, there's actually more than two ways, but what the common way is you can go buy a ram, borrow one, breed your ewes, and then get rid of your ram because you may not have the area to keep him in, year round. But basically, you're going to need a place to keep him when he's not with his ladies, because you can let him run with him year round, but it's easier to manage if you can put him in and take him out on a schedule. Just like all these ewes here, there's roughly 90 head, 100 head of ewes that are having lambing right now. Well, we put our ram in, or rams at the time. We used Dorper rams, which we're not going down that road ever again. Nothing wrong with them, just not doing it. We put our rams in, left them in for, I want to say 32 days, and then we pulled them out and took them down to where we keep our rams. And that way we got everybody bred, so I can sit down on a piece of paper and I say, I want them to lamb at this time. So I just look at a calendar, say I want them to lamb at this time. We go all the way back to and figure out 145 days, and that's when we'll figure from there back another 32 days, and so that's when we put the rams in and let them do their thing, and voila, 5 months later we've got babies. So, and it's a lot easier to manage that way when you have a whole lot. If you've only got 4 or 5, it is not the end of the world if you let him just have babies and let them, Mother Nature, take its course. It makes it easier on you and easier on them. But like I said, it's all in what you want to do. Now, there's what's called a feeder lamb operation, which is like feeder cattle. You basically have pens, and you go and you buy lambs at a sale barn, or you buy them from a producer when they're weaned, and depending on how big they are, you can get them 25, 30 pounds, whatever. You pick them up, bring them home, and then you'll put them in their pens, and they've got a creep feeder, and you just put the creep feed to them, feed, water, hay, and when they hit 60, 70, 100 pounds, whatever your desired weight is, then you can sell them. Or you can also feed lambs out on pasture. It just takes more time. If some people like raising grass-fed, and there's nothing wrong with it. The only thing I see wrong with grass-fed is if you like raising grass-fed animals and you have a market for it where you're going to get a premium, then it's worth it to do it. But in my situation, where I'm not getting any more for having grass-fed versus lambs that are finished on creep feed, I'm going to go with creep feed, because I get them in, I get them out, and they have a lot less time on my farm than they do if I just wean them and put them in another pasture just for the lambs. So to me, there's no benefit for that added cost and added headache of having that many extra lambs on the ground, because with everything you have to deal with sheep, especially during the summer, the barber pole worms and feet, which honestly the feet aren't that bad depending on breed, but the barber pole worms are the one thing that you'll have to worry with sheep and goats. And so for those being an issue, I'd rather stick them on concrete and let them spend a month, 2 months there, and then load them on a trailer and take them to sale or call a buyer and have them come get them, depending on how I market them. So those are the two types of operations that you have. You've got ewe lamb and feeder lambs. Now, the biggest thing is figuring out what type of breed of sheep you want to raise. That's the fun part. Now, I can tell you what not to do. Do not start raising a breed of sheep just because it looks cool. That is a horrible idea. And you need to find a breed of sheep that works for your area. And here in West Tennessee, with the insane amount of rain that we have, or especially have had the past year or 2 years, especially February, March, we're up to 18 something inches so far. Basically, Dorpers don't work for me on this farm. I went last year and spent a lot of money buying really great genetics. I went and bought some Dorper Rams, and I brought them back here in January, and which was when I wanted to breed, and I turned them out. I had 4 of them, and in 2-3 weeks they had foot problems just because it was insanely wet, so, and all the rain. So I had to get them up, I had to put them on concrete in a shed so their feet could dry, and doctor their feet. I doctored their feet for 3 months, 4 months. So did that, but I got a great crop of lambs out of it. Great. Which this is the last crop of lambs that I got from those. So anyway, I didn't have nothing but problems out of them. The feet problems were just too much. They never fully recovered from them, so I sold those rams and I went with Katahdins. I have a Katahdin ram from Eva Ranch. He showed up at a sale. I got lucky and got him. I found out he was an Eva Ranch ram, and so I was pretty excited. And he's been through the torrential rains. The big difference on this farm, this is not across the board, is he does not have the feet problems. My ewes, when I had those Dorpers, and the Dorper Rams were with him, they did not have the feet problems, just the Rams, which most of my ewes are Katahdin and Dorper Cross, Barbados, St. Croix, Black Sheep, and not like the wool. I don't even know what a black sheep is, but I know these girls, they're black, and I don't know what they are, but they're really good moms. But that's basically what we run. We run commercial ewes. And so the ewes don't have problems. And so now my ram doesn't have a problem. So that makes my life a lot easier, is finding something. And the only thing I can figure out is roughly that the Dorper Rams have, since the Dorper breed, it's from South Africa, and that's where it was developed, where it's dry, it's a hotter, drier climate, is they fare better in a climate that is like that. The Katahdins, they were developed in the United States, in the Northeast, so my thinking is they're going to thrive in the same conditions in the same country that breed was developed in, and that's what they're developed for. And so if you want tiny cows, then I'd go with Katahdins. So that's kind of where we're going to stop today and for this video, and I guess we'll pick up on the different breeds of sheep, and we'll go through some of the different things, and maybe we can get some pictures of some of these moms out here with their babies, and we'll go over breeds. Y'all take care. See you next time. If you got any questions, just put them down in the comments, and I'll try to hit them up as best I can. But everything in these videos is all about West Tennessee and raising sheep. If it happened outside of West Tennessee and was raising sheep, I probably don't know nothing about it.